All right, so this is second try. I hope this works now. The last broadcast just cut out. I don't know if it was working. If you can see me and you can hear me, you're rejoining me. Thank you for rejoining for this second attempt at this broadcast. Joining me live and you can hear me, give me a thumbs up, let me know that you can hear me loud and clear in the comment box. It'd be really good to get that. I can see you joining. Thanks for joining again. I got cut off on that last broadcast, so here we are on our second attempt. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Dion Johnson, also known as the Womanologist, because I am really mad passionate about supporting women in leadership to keep growing and evolving as influential change makers in their field. In fact, I've set myself a goal and a mission to help 1,000 women in senior leadership a month to keep evolving and keep growing and keep upping their influence factor. So my work is really all about working with CEOs, with directors, heads of department, strategic leads in the marketplace, who what we're really working on is getting out of our own heads and really into our power, our influential power, so that we can cope better with the challenges that come at us at the front line of senior leadership, and we can show up more confidently in our roles, and we can be more influential in our industry. So that's what my work is really all about, and that's why I'm making this video. Today's video is called Live, Lead and Shine, Woman of Influence. And it's really inspired by the times that we're in. These are strange, strange times. That you'd have to be living under the sea in a cave somewhere to not know, to not be affected, to not feel the tangible presence of this weird season that we're in. The atmosphere is really thick with it, and I've been holding off speaking about it publicly because I've really been slow to gather my own thoughts and really get myself grounded in and centered in my thinking and my beliefs, and really working out what's happening for me in all of this before I want to share with you. And I've been having conversations too with my associates, my family, my friends, and the people that I've worked with, my old clients, people that are in my network. I've really been having some amazing conversations. And, throughout those conversations, I've been really thoughtful about what people are sharing. I can see that people are at all kinds of different places when it comes to their own take on what's happening. And some are afraid, and some are just a little bit disgruntled that, the inconvenience of it all. Some people are just feeling really put out or lost, or just a whole range of emotions around what's happening globally among us. And it's got me thinking, and it's got me meditating, and it's got me praying. It's got me really being still and just taking all of this in. And I've got to tell you that as I've been thinking about it, there's this sort of, there's this kind of unspoken, there's this kind of unexpressed theme that I'm picking up. This unexpressed theme that I haven't been able to put words to, but I've been thinking about in my secret place, in my prayerful place, in my meditation place. I've been thinking about this tangible quality that I can feel as I talk to people, and as I watch the news, and as I listen to the stories, and I just take it all in. And I can't quite put a name to it, but there's 3 stories that have really helped me to clarify where I am with it all. 3 stories that are coming up in my memory, coming up in my mind as I think through it all, that I'm going to share with you today. I want to share these 3 stories with you in the hope that I can bring my message, that I can inspire you to, and perhaps inspire you to think perhaps different about how we are, what we are coping with in our world. So before I go into these 3 stories, I'd love for you to share this video if you think this is something that people will need to hear in your network. I'd love for you to say hi and let me know where you're watching from. And Yeah, let me go into these stories. So I want to tell you 3 stories. The first one is about maybe 15 years ago. I used to be a director in local government. I used to lead I was a regional director for a national initiative, a public health initiative, and in this role, I was really unsure of myself as a leader. It was my first high level leadership role. And I was really unsure. And I had a mentor at the time who'd always be telling me to not worry, that I was doing well, that I was okay. But I was still always a little bit on edge as I was doing this role, always wondering if I was doing it right, feeling like I wasn't doing it right. If you see me looking down, it's because I've got some notes, right? So I was really uncertain in this role as director of this program. And then I got invited to speak at a conference. I was speaking all the time. I was addressing audiences. I was always, public speaking. But one invitation to speak got me really excited. It was an invitation to speak at a conference for faith in the city. It was called Faith in the City. And because I'm a woman of faith, because I'm a really practicing Christian, really excited about my faith it's top in my life. I was really excited about contributing to this conference. And so I went to this conference and I spoke with all my heart about God and my faith, and how the faith really does influence the marketplace. And I really enjoyed myself. And after that event, what happened was I got called in by my boss a few days later, and she said, "What the heck did you say at that conference?" And I asked, "What were you talking about? Why did you ask that?" And she said, "Because there were some people in the audience, some people from the mayor's office come to the audience, and they heard you speaking, and they really didn't like that you were so vocal about your faith." And that baffled me, because I didn't understand how you could be in a conference that was about faith and not reveal, or not be vocal, or not be visibly a woman of faith, if that's what you are. But it was a real big deal. And my boss was saying, they're not happy with you. I've been told to keep a close eye on you and report to them about how you're doing. And I was in trouble. And I was really upset about that, because I'd been saying to this mentor all along that I feel like I'm not doing right. And she was really reassuring then. But now that I'd revealed myself as this woman of faith, there was this issue. There was an issue with my performance all of a sudden. And I felt really unsafe. And I felt really unsure of myself. And I felt really unsupported. And it was an awful time. I remember how I would dread going to work. I remember how I was so I was playing small, hiding, sort of shrinking in my role. And it was a really difficult time. And this story, I want to part the story here for a minute, because there's a second story that I want to share with you. And it's a much more recent story. It's a story of me writing a book. For some of you will know that I've just finished writing a book. And the process I found incredibly difficult. There were days when I thought I wouldn't make it, like the book wasn't ever going to happen. There was a time when I just thought, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. That it's not going to happen. And the deadline was coming up, and I was just really, the book wasn't coming together, and the deadline was coming fast, and it was just all very, very intense. And I remember the feeling of that. I remember how I felt like the pressure was squeezing so hard, like I couldn't breathe. It felt like, it just felt like enormous pressure, like my life was in danger. I know that sounds dramatic, but it really felt like my life was in danger. And so as I've been thinking through this whole season that we're in, and the conversations that I've been having, and what's being said on the news, and what I can see happening around us, these two stories have kept coming back to mind. And I've been wondering, why are these two stories coming up? Why are these two stories presenting themselves? And as I've been searching out the answer to that question, another story comes up. Bear with me, because I'm going somewhere with this. So another story comes up. And this time, it was years ago again, and we were on a family holiday in Jamaica, and we were staying at a really nice hotel, and, you know, we'd spend our days on the beach or by the pool, you know, drinking pina coladas and, you know, having a really nice hangout time as family. And I remember jumping into the pool one day and swimming, and then deciding that I'd had enough of swimming, so I thought I'd stand up. And when I went to stand up, I realized that I was in the deep end. And I realized that I didn't realize that I'd been swimming out into the deep end. There didn't seem to be any sign to say, this is the shallow end, this is the deep end. I didn't realize I was in the deep end, but no worries. I couldn't stand up, but I swam to the edge and held on. And as I turned around, I saw my daughter, Bianca, swimming towards me. She was coming towards me. She was obviously following my lead, and she was coming towards me. And I knew that she wasn't a very strong swimmer, and I knew that she didn't realize that she was swimming into the deep end, and I didn't know what to do. I had this imagination that she was going to try and stand up because she wasn't a great swimmer, and she was going to realize that she was in the deep end, and that she was going to start panicking. So my plan was to swim back towards her. My plan was to grab her before she realized that she was in the deep end, and then bring her back to safety. But as I got to her, it was like a fraction too late, and she'd already tried to stand up, and she'd already started to panic. And so the two of us, she grabbed hold of me as I got to her, and she pulled my head under the water. And, you know, I was trying to save her and help her to get up, but she was flailing like this, and she was pulling me under the water. And, you know, it was really bad. Like, it got to the place where I couldn't get my head to go above the water. I couldn't get her head to go above the water. And so the two of us were grappling. I'm trying to get her up. She's trying to pull me out. And like and she's trying to save herself, really. And the two of us were going deeper and deeper under the water. And I remember the feeling. I remember feeling like life is draining away from me. I remember feeling like I can't catch my breath, and that this is looking serious, and that this could really be the end. This could really be the end. And that feeling has never left me. I've never stopped remembering that feeling. That feeling like, okay, this is it. And I feel like the reason that these three stories are coming back to me as I'm considering this whole thing is that I'm realizing that that's what some of us are feeling like. That this situation that we're dealing with, and actually not just the virus and the pandemic, but just women in leadership generally, that there is just so much that we're dealing with, so much that makes life feel like it's under threat, so much that it challenges life as we know it. Life as we know it feels under threat, and that feeling is what I'm really picking up, that there are women all around me, all around us women who are feeling like this is like we're coping with a lot. We're carrying a lot of weight. It feels like we're drowning in it. It's in the air that we breathe. We're breathing in this heavy doom and gloom and fear-filled. It's like we're swimming in it. And I'm telling you that as I consider this and I realize that this is something that we're carrying, whether we're expressing it or not, whether we're conscious of this heavy thing that we're swimming in or not, that many of us are feeling like life is under threat. Life as we know it is under threat. I feel like we're struggling to breathe. I feel like we're struggling to breathe easy. I feel like we're clutching at life. So many of us are, life as we know it feels like it's under threat. But here's the thing. This is not the time to be fearful. It's normal to be afraid of this virus. It's normal to be afraid of the unknown. But here's the thing. We are alive. I've come to remind you that we're not dead. We're not dying. We're alive. You are alive right now in this moment. I'm looking down at my notes. I don't want to miss anything. That we are women who are called and chosen to lead at such a time as this. That we're needed. We're needed at such a time as this. We are being called. What's happening right now is not a random thing. This event is significant. It's a picture of our being called to do. It's calling us to be revealed as the women who are leading at this time. It's calling us to stand up, get out of our heads, get out of the fear, get out of the terror, and into the truth of our leadership, the truth of our calling, to ensure that how we respond in this situation is right, is good, is conducive to the greater good, is conducive to helping things to get back on an even keel, is to move into this new place. We're moving into a new place. And I've come to encourage you today that you're alive now. You're alive now. And I want you to really focus on that it feels intense, that it feels like the pressure squeezing the life out of us sometimes, but that you're not dead today. You're alive today. And you're being called and chosen and needed to lead others, to model how others approach this very strange and unknown time. So it's time to stand up. It's time to stand up. It's time to speak out. It's time to shape responses and shape attitudes and shape culture at such a time as this within your realm of influence. It's time to see to it that we respond right and that what we create as a result of what we're going through is good and that it works, and that wherever this is leading to is righteous, that it works for everyone, that it supports the greater good. You and I are being called to see to it that this ends well. We're being called to see to it that people are okay. And so we have to gather our thoughts. It is a scary time. It is an unknown time, but we have to gather our thoughts. And so I want to speak life to you. I'm calling you to understand that you are alive today, that you are strong today, that you are able today, and you're called and chosen today to lead at such a time as this, to live out loud at such a time as this, that people are needing models, role models. They're needing leaders to show them how to respond at such a time as this. I'm calling you to gather your thoughts, to get out of your head, to get out of fear, and to get into your power. And so I want you to focus. I want you to focus first on facing your own fears. That's what I've been doing. I've been thinking about what I'm afraid of at such a time as this. And I've really faced them. I've looked my fears eyeball to eyeball. And I'm really encouraging that you do the same. What are you afraid of? You know, the picture that I had this morning when I was out on my walk was that the more we try and pretend we're not afraid, and the more we try and block out our fears, the more our fears will be like that kind of, will pursue us and insist that we look, will be poking us and pulling at our frock tail until we pay attention. But listen, you can face your fears, write them out. That's what I've been doing, writing out your fears, documenting them, looking at them and speaking to them and letting them know that they're not bigger than you. Your fears are not bigger than you. It's time to look your fears in the eyeballs and speak to them, put them in their place. Speak to them with the truth, which leads me on to the second point that I want to leave you with. Face your fears and find your God. Find your God. This is a time for you to think about, when I say that, what I mean is I want you to think about what in your life is bigger than this virus. What in your life is more powerful than this pandemic? Who in your life is more mighty than this fear that pursues and it wants to take over our thinking and our minds and our lives right now? What's more powerful? I was Googling last night to understand why it's called the coronavirus. And what I see is that it's called corona because it is after the word coronation. And it's because the virus itself has these crown-like structures that attach itself to the surface of this virus, so that it's surrounded by crowns. I really do think that's significant. And I think that we should be thinking about, it seems like this virus wants to be Lord. It seems like this virus wants to lead and dictate and decree and tell you how you should live and what you should think and how you should be navigating life right now. But I'm telling you that it's really important. It's really, really critical that you find out who's your God, who's your Lord, who's bigger, who's mightier than this thing that we're dealing with. It's really critical. And the third thing that I want to encourage you is to fortify your soul. Fortify your soul. And what I mean by that is, feed your soul, strengthen your soul. Your soul is your emotions, your mind, your will. Strengthen your will, your emotions, and your mind. Fortify them with positivity. Fortify them with the truth. Fortify them with inspirational, noble thoughts. The Bible says that whatever things are wonderful, good, whatever things are noble, whatever things are of good report, whatever things are beautiful, whatever things are think on good things, think beautiful thoughts, have positivity going in, and read what inspires you, what builds you up, and block out what's not. Some of us have to stop watching the news. Some of us have to cut off from certain conversations. Some of us have to find new people to hang out with, or new books to read, or new pastimes that feed our soul, that fortify our resolve to stay focused on what is true here. And the truth is, woman of influence, that you are a woman of influence, called to lead the way for so many at such a time as this. So I want to encourage you. I'm making this video to encourage you to live. Don't die before you're dead. Don't go there in your mind. Lead. Show people how to survive this, to show people how to go through this with strength and resilience and honor and fortitude. And finally, shine your light. Help people to see the way. I hope you're encouraged. I hope you are making up your mind that you are part of us getting through this, and that it's time for you to gather your thoughts. It's time for you to focus. It's time for you to take a stand. It's time for you to assume and occupy your position in the marketplace and in your home and in your community as a beacon for helping humanity to get through what we're going through. That's it. That's what I have for you today. As usual, I ask that if you like this video, then share it. I ask that you subscribe to this channel. I'll be going live regularly throughout this whole period. So subscribe to this channel so you don't ever miss an episode. And share and comment. Let me know if you're one of my 1,000 this month. Look forward to hearing your thoughts. Look forward to hearing how you're coping, how you're doing, and connect. If you want to speak to me personally, then reach out by email, connect@thewomanologist.com. I'm really happy and open to hearing what it is that you have to say. Oh, and I have a few places left for my CEO Sanctuary. So if you are wanting to be supported, to gather your own thoughts or get out of your head and into your power, then I'm offering 90-minute virtual sessions that will help you to do just that. That's what I can help you with. They're just a very nominal fee. If you're interested in one of those, then just email me or inbox me or send me a message here and we can talk about that. Okay, I'm going to leave you. I can't see any comments, but sometimes after the broadcast, I see that you are commenting and I will respond to everyone in the comment box. But thank you so much for joining me. My name is Dion Johnson, the Womanologist, and I'll be back live through this whole thing regularly. So look out and live, lead, and shine, woman of influence. See you later.